Hi, my friends. We're trying something different. So here I am doing a lesson on graphs. We have three different graphs we'll be looking at. There's the bar graph, the picture graph, and the tally chart with tally marks are inside it. So let's begin by looking at those bar graphs. Or actually, let's do picture graphs first because they build upon each other. Picture graphs are the first kind of graphs we learn about. And what a graph is used is that when you ask a question and you want to mark how much data or information you're receiving. If I ask the question, let's see, the question would be, how many children are at the playground? That would be the title of the graph, and then the questions would be, are they on the swing on the playground or on the slide at the playground? And the information I would collect would be for each child that's on the playground. Here's a picture for how many for one child. So for the swings, I'd have 4 children on the swings at the playground, and then 2 children are on the slide at the playground. And that's how I would read a picture graph. Here's another picture graph down here where you have the same 3 things. So you have the question that you'd ask, and then you collect information based on it. So the question usually is tied with the title of the bar graph or picture graph or tally chart. The title will be at the top. Just like when you read a book, it's at the very top. So this graph is about our favorite activity at the fair. Then you have all these pictures down here. How you read it, you have your different categories. This one has the categories animals and rides. Has this information to read. Each stick figure stands for one child. So once again, we're using that stick figure to read one child. So the kids who had their activity at the fair was the animals, were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kids, or 5 children who liked the animals at the fair. For the children who chose rides as their favorite activity at the fair were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now that we can read this picture graph, you can answer questions. Now the questions, I said that the picture graph was to answer your original question, our favorite activity at the fair. Well, now that you've collected the data or information about the favorite activity, we want to break it down into other things. And that's why I say we have more questions. Use the picture graph to answer the question, which activity did more children choose? So you have information about rides and animals. Which one do they like more? Was it the rides or was it the animals? Well, look up here. I see rides has more children than animals did. So rides would be the one I would circle, where there's more children who preferred the ride as their favorite activity. Question 2. How many children chose animals? Well, we counted that. That was 5. Question 3. How many children chose rides? And we counted that was 7. How many fewer children chose animals and rides? Now here's where you want to compare the difference. Remember the word difference goes with subtraction. I have 7, I have 5. So 5 away from 7. What's left is 2. I have 2 fewer children like the animals than the rides. Now this can also be used when you're looking at more, how many more compared to the other. Finding the difference between 2 numbers, you use your subtraction. And that's how you read this picture graph. We're now going to move on to the bar graphs. Bar graphs are very similar. When you have the title, you have the categories, and you're counting how many in each of those. There's a new thing that we'll be adding. Once you have your title, this one has this make your own title, do something about what's your favorite art tool. Then you'd have your categories, art tools, markers, paintbrushes, and crayons. The new thing is down here. See the number of children. We have numbers 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. What do these numbers go to? Well, you look at this line above it. 0 starts at the beginning where I can't mark any of the bars. Once I have 1 bar, it comes down to the 1. When I have 2 bars, it comes down to the 2. There's only 2 crayons, so that will stop there at 2. And 3, and 4, then 5. Only 5 markers, so it stops here. And then you have 6 at the very end. 6 paintbrushes. That one's the biggest. Now that you're able to read the bar graph, it would have the title, What's Your Favorite Art Tool? The categories, Different Art Tools. And this, I guess you could call it another category, but it's really just the number that we're counting by. And then you can answer the questions about how many markers, paintbrushes, crayons be all together, maybe 2 of the categories. And just like in the other one, when we were looking at picture graphs, you might find the difference between 2 of them. Finding the difference between paintbrush and markers, I would have the 6 paintbrushes minus 5 markers. And I would find 1 is the difference. Markers are 1 less, paintbrushes are 1 more. Let's look at another bar graph. Here we once more have our bar graph with the title on the top, but they've switched that the numbers, instead of being on the bottom, are on the side, and the categories are on the bottom. So the categories are of vehicles, and then we have the number of children. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Title, favorite vehicle. The different kinds of vehicles that can be your favorite would be car, truck, or a dump truck. And we would read. So we see 3 different colors of bars. Here's 0. All of them are more than 0. All of them are more than 1. The yellow comes to the 2 line. Then 3, 4, 5. The blue bar comes up to 5. And then the green line comes to, or the green bar, comes to the 6th line. And you could read the questions. How many children chose car? That was the yellow, so that was 2 children. How many children chose truck? That was the green. That was 6. 6 children. How many children in all chose car and dump truck? Ooh, when they have the word all, you want to add car and dump truck together. We add those 2 numbers. 2 and 6. 2 and 6 is equal to 8. So I'd write 8 children. How many more children chose truck than car? In this one, I am comparing and finding a difference between them. So I will use subtraction. So I have 5 minus the 2 would give me the 3. Now, if we remember our strategy of related facts, there is an addition related fact that would help. So I just did 5 minus 2 equals 3. That is true. 3 more children like the truck. You could also do addition. This is a related fact to that subtraction. What plus 2 would get me the 5? Well, 2 plus 1, 2, 3 more bars would get me up to 5. And that would help you find 1, 2, 3 is that missing number. It's a little tricky to think through, so we don't usually go through that way, but it is another strategy to practice. So you can use addition or subtraction to find 3 is the difference between that and the 2 for truck and the car. Next question. Which vehicle did the most children choose? Circle. Was it cars, trucks, or dump trucks? Well, car was 2, truck was 5, dump truck was 6. 6 is the most, so I circle the dump truck. Order the vehicles from least to most votes. Write 1 for the least votes, 3 for the most votes. Well, 3 was the most, that was for dump truck. 2 was the middle, that was truck, and then 1 was the car for the least. And that's how you would read the bar graphs, where you have the title, the category on the side. Maybe it's on the bottom. One of them is going to be category, the other will be the numbers, and it will tell you the number. And you look at where the bar goes to at the line, and you'll be able to read that line. Our next graph, we will be looking at tally charts. Tally charts are very similar to a bar graph and a picture graph. Because we have our title, we have our categories. Now, picture graphs have pictures that we would count. Bar graphs would have a bar, and you'd count the line it would reach to, and that looked very similar to a picture graph. With a tally chart, we no longer have those separate spots that number it for us. Instead, what happens is we have this symbol here called a tally mark. You can use a tally chart to collect information, and then each of these lines is a tally mark to mark that information. So this question, do more children like chicken or pizza better? Title, food we like. Categories, chicken, pizza. Now I count the tally marks. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's 3 total for chicken, 8 total for pizza. The difference with a tally chart is that they have this total section where you count up how many tally marks and then you write the total. A unique thing about tally mark, now you'll remember tally marks from what we used for class points in the classroom. It's been a while, but you'll remember how I'd use the lines. Once I have 4 lines, it's like closing a gate by having a line across the middle. When you have 5 of those lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a 5 line through the middle of them, that stands for 5. This makes it easier to count, so when you see those 4 with the line across, it's just one clump of 5, and you can start counting by 5s. When you have a big group of them, go like 5, 10, 15, 20, because you see a group of 5. If we just see a bunch of lines, oh, it gets a lot harder to read that. Because there's so many different lines, we lose track of what we're counting. So we group them into 5s. So that one had 3, that one had 8. More children liked the pizza, for there were 8 children who liked the pizza. Next tally chart. Boys and girls in our class. Not for our class. It's just in the textbook. Boys and girls in our class. The boys are, oh, there's a group of 5. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 9 boys, so I put a 9 over there. Girls. Oh, there's a group of 5. 5 plus 1, I got 6. 5, 6. 6 is the total for girls. And that is how you would read a tally chart. Then you can answer questions based on the information you have collected in your chart or in your graph. Use the tally chart to answer each question. Question 1. How many girls are in the class? We counted 5 and 1, which is the number 6. So how many girls are in the class? There are 6 girls. How many boys are in the class? Count 5 and 4 more. Plus 4 is 9. So we even found out there were 9 boys in the class. How many children are in the class in all? Ooh, in all. It means we're going to add 6 plus 9. 6 plus 9 equals 15. So we have 15 children in the class. Are there more boys or girls in the class? We can see there are more boys. So we write boys in that line. So there are 3 different graphs. You had your bar graphs and then the tally charts. I hope this information helps you with what we've learned in math.